Introduction. The Great Tuning. At this stage of the journey, you have likely already asked yourself the question. Perhaps you asked it in the silence of the early morning, when the house sleeps and thoughts grow loud. The question is, why? Why are there people who seem to walk through life with the wind always at their back? People to whom money comes without suffering, whose health is ironclad and who seem to be protected by a kind of invisible cloak. We say they have a lucky star. And on the other hand, why are there good, hard-working and honest people, perhaps like you, who seem to live rowing against the current? People who, no matter how hard they try, always find a new debt or a new pain today. For years we have been told this is luck, or worse, that it is fate. We have been told life is a lottery where some get the prize and others just watch. Let me tell you something with total certainty. That is not true. God does not play dice. The universe is not capricious. It has no favorites. What occurs is much simpler and deeper. It is a matter of tuning. Imagine a radio for a moment. In the air surrounding you right now, hundreds of radio waves exist simultaneously. There is classical music, which brings peace. There are war news, which bring fear. There is rock, which brings energy. All of them are right there, right now, in this very place. It is a field. But if your radio is tuned to the war news station, you will only hear conflict and pain. It does not matter how much you scream at the radio. It does not matter how much you complain. It does not matter how much you pray for the music to change. As long as the dial remains on that frequency, the reality you hear will be war today. It is not the radio's fault. It is not God's fault. It is simply that the dial is in the wrong position. Welcome to The Physics of the Miracle. I created this audiobook because I know you are no longer here to waste time with empty theories or the childish, magical thinking that promises results without understanding. You are ready. You have the maturity to understand the truth behind the curtain. What we are going to discover together is that the health, wealth, and peace you long for are not things you have to manufacture with effort and sweat. They are realities that already exist. They are playing right now on a specific frequency in the quantum field. Your current poverty is a frequency. Your loneliness is a frequency. But your abundance is one as well. Modern science and quantum physics have finally shaken hands with ancient spirituality to explain how this mechanism works. They teach us that your mind is the antenna, that your heart is the frequency selector in this life, and that if we learn to move that dial with precision, we can stop listening to the static of fear, to start listening to the symphony of miracles. It does not matter if you are 40, 60, or 80 years old. In fact, your age is your greatest advantage. The young run fast, but they often run in the wrong direction. You know what matters. You already have the patience of the gardener who knows that to harvest one must first sow and care. I invite you to set aside skepticism for a few hours. I invite you to clean the dust off your old internal radio. We are going to learn to turn the knob. We will look for the music that has always belonged to you. You are loved. Relax. Take a deep breath. The transmission is about to begin. The path to your new reality is not a distance to be traveled, but a resonance to be found. Allow the frequencies of the miraculous to wash over you as we begin this transformation. Your dial is moving and the music is changing. Open your heart to the sound of the new now. Chapter 1. The Invisible Mirror. Look around you. You are likely sitting in an armchair, driving your car, or walking through a park. If you touch the armrest of the chair, it feels hard, solid. If you knock on the table with your knuckles, you hear a dry sound. Your senses, touch, sight, hearing, send you a constant message. The world is real and separate from you today. This is the great illusion. It is the most perfect magic trick ever created. Throughout your life, you have operated under the premise that you are a small, fragile entity moving within a gigantic, heavy world. You have believed that circumstances, the economy, illnesses, the behavior of others, are solid facts like concrete walls in your life. But today, as we begin this journey, I need you to suspend that belief. I need you to open a small crack in your logic, to let in a truth that mystics have whispered for millennia and that quantum physicists now confirm. The truth is this: reality is not a window, it is a mirror. Nothing out there has an existence of its own today. Everything you experience is an echo of what is happening in here. I know this may sound difficult to digest at first, especially when problems seem so real and urgent, But bear with me, we are going to dismantle the illusion brick by brick, starting with the most fundamental science. We will reveal the hidden mechanism of your world. I, the ghost in the machine, the illusion of matter. If we took an ultra-powerful microscope and looked at your hand, what would we see? First cells, then molecules, then atoms. In school, we were taught the atom is like a small solar system, a nucleus in the center and electrons spinning around. We imagined small solid balls colliding with one another. But physics reveals a deeper truth. Imagine the nucleus of an atom were a basketball in the center of a professional stadium. Where would the electrons be? They would be in the highest stands, the size of a pinhead, spinning at dizzying speeds. And what is between the basketball and the pins in the stands? Nothing. Absolute void. The atom is 99.99999% empty space now. Since everything you see and touch is made of atoms, that means you, your house, your car, and your bank account are essentially empty space. Why don't you fall through the chair? Why do you stub your toe? It is not because matter is solid. It is because of energy. Solidity is simply the repulsion of energy fields in this universe. They are electrical forces colliding, just like when you try to push two magnets together by the same pole and feel an invisible resistance. You are not touching matter. You are touching force. Why do I tell you this? Because if reality is not solid, it is modifiable. Your illness or poverty are not fixed things but clouds of energy today. If they are energy vibrating in a vacuum, they can be dispersed and reorganized. You have been living in fear of the monsters on the cinema screen, believing they were real when they are only projected light. And you have your hand on the projector. It is time to change the film and realize the power you hold over your own experience. Turquoise, the parable of the bathroom mirror. Let me use a metaphor you will understand viscerally. Imagine you wake up one morning after a restless night. You go into the bathroom, turn on the light, and look in the mirror. Your reflection has messy hair, deep dark circles, and a tired expression. You don't like what you see. What do? Do you try to fix the glass itself? Would you grab a comb and start combing the surface of the glass? Would you smear makeup on the cold mirror to cover the dark circles? Would you scream at the mirror or beg it to change the image? If someone saw you doing that, they would think you have lost your mind. You know the mirror has no will of its own. It is innocent today. The mirror is a faithful servant that only does one thing, reflect. For the image in the mirror to change, you have to change first. If you comb your hair, the reflection combs its hair. If you smile, the reflection smiles. It is instantaneous. It is a law. Now apply this to your life. The universe is that three-dimensional mirror. Your bank account is the mirror. Your health is the mirror. Your relationships are the mirror. Most people, I dare say the vast majority of humanity, spend their entire lives trying to comb the mirror. They try to change their partner by nagging instead of changing themselves. They try to change their economy with only hard work. They try to heal their body with pills, without healing the toxic emotions that generated the disease. It is a battle lost in advance. It is exhausting. You reach 50, 60, or 70 years old, tired of fighting. You are tired because you have been fighting images. The physics of the miracle begins when you finally let go of the comb now. 30. The observer and the observed. There is a concept in quantum mechanics called the observer effect. In simple terms, scientists discovered that subatomic particles behave differently when they are observed. When no one is looking, they are waves of possibility. They can be in many places at once. They are pure potentiality, waiting for a conscious mind today. But the moment a conscious observer fixes their attention on them, they collapse and become a solid particle in a fixed place. Let's translate this to your daily life. Your attention is the glue that holds your reality together. When you obsess over a problem, say a debt, you act as the observer who collapses the wave into fact. You are looking at the problem with such intensity that you solidify it. You are giving it energy. You are keeping it alive. It is as if reality were wet cement, and your constant attention dries and hardens it. People say, "I worry because I have debts." The physics of the miracle says, you have debts because you worry. It is a loop. How do you break the cycle? Someone has to be the first to smile, and the mirror cannot do it. The mirror has no initiative. It must be you. You must dare to withdraw your attention from what you do not want and place it unshakably on what you do want. This is not ignorance, it is strategic intelligence for your survival and peace. For the lag time, the echo of the stars, this is where most rational adults stumble. You might say, fine, I understand the theory. But yesterday I smiled at the mirror, and today my bank account is still empty. This doesn't work. Patience. Here enters a crucial difference. The mirror of reality has lag time. We live in a dense physical plane. Matter is slow, energy is fast. Imagine you are the captain of a huge ocean liner. If you turn the rudder today, the ship does not turn 90 degrees in a second. Inertia carries it forward a bit more before it begins to curve. What you are living today, your current circumstances, is the wake of your past. They are thoughts and beliefs you held months or years ago. Your current reality is a dead star. When you look at the night sky, you see stars that may no longer exist, but their light took years to reach you. Your problems today are old light. They are materialized old thoughts. The tragic mistake is to look at your bad circumstances and react with frustration. That sows seeds for more pain. The master understands lag time. He knows that if he changes his mind today, if he starts to feel abundance and gratitude, the outer reality will not change this afternoon. But he knows, with the certainty of a farmer, that the seed is planted. He does not dig up the soil every 5 minutes. He waters it with faith and waits. The law of correspondence. There is an ancient principle, as above, so below, as within, so without. This is the fundamental law of tuning. There can be no wealth outside if there is poverty inside. There can be no love outside if there is self-contempt inside. The universe does not give you what you want with your mouth. It gives you what you are now. Think of your life as a movie projected in a theater. The film is in the reel, your subconscious mind. Light passes through the reel and projects onto the screen, your physical life. If you don't like the movie, it is useless to stand up and scream at the screen. It is useless to try to clean the screen with a cloth, it's inside. The stain is not on the screen. The stain is on the film reel. You have to go up to the projection booth, your mind, and change the reel. You have to cut scenes of pain and splice in scenes of joy. At your age, you have a huge advantage. You have seen many movies. You know what dramas you never want to watch again. You have clarity. First, responsibility versus guilt. Before finishing this chapter, I must make a surgical distinction. Hearing that everything is a reflection of your interior often brings up a dark feeling. Guilt. You might think, did I cause this illness? Am I to blame for my failure? Please, stop that thought. Guilt is a low-frequency emotion. Guilt is useless trash. Guilt looks at the past and says, I am bad. Responsibility looks at the present and says, I am powerful. You did not create past problems intentionally. You did it out of ignorance. You didn't know how the radio worked. You turned the dial blindly, tuning into fear because that is what you were taught by society and the news. You were a child playing in an airplane cockpit, touching buttons without knowing. Do not blame yourself for the plane's sudden movements. But now you are receiving the flight manual. Now you are no longer ignorant. Now you know. And knowing gives you the capacity to respond. Leave guilt at the door, it has no use here. Chapter 2. The Secret Garden, the Subconscious. Imagine a high wall covered in ancient ivy. Behind that wall lies a vast stretch of land, fertile and dark. It is rich, black, moist earth, capable of nourishing the most exuberant life. If you drop an oak seed into that earth, an immense oak will grow. If you drop a nightshade seed, a deadly poison, the earth will nourish it with the same love. The earth will nourish it with the same energy, and a perfect poisonous bush will grow. The earth does not care what you plant. The earth has no morals. It has no judgment. It does not say, I will not make this plant grow because it is poison and will kill the owner. Its only function is to grow what is sown. That earth is your subconscious mind. And you are the gardener. The problem, the silent tragedy of most lives, is that the gardener has fallen asleep, or worse, never knew they were the owner of the garden. For 40, 50, or 60 years, you have left the garden gate open, and strangers have entered. People have thrown seeds of fear and lack into your sacred ground. Your parents, your teachers, the news, pessimistic neighbors. They have all entered your garden and tossed seeds at random. Seeds of you can't, seeds of life is hard, seeds of illness, and the earth, faithful and potent, has done its work. It has turned those seeds into the forest of circumstances that surrounds you today. If your current life has thorns, it is not because the earth is bad, it is because the seeds were bad. Welcome to Chapter 2. Today we are going to take the keys to the garden. We are going to learn to pull up the old weeds, even those with deep roots, and we are going to learn the delicate art of planting roses, where there were once only briars. Hey, the captain and the engine room. To understand why it is sometimes so hard to change, we must understand the division of your mind. You do not have one mind, you have two. The conscious mind, the gardener. The part that thinks, analyzes, and decides. It is logical, but it is weak. It only controls 5% of your life. It is the part currently listening to me now. The subconscious mind, the garden, the part that feels, stores, and creates. It controls your breathing, your digestion, and your automatic reactions. It does not judge, it only obeys. It is illogical, but it is infinitely powerful. It controls 95% of your life. Think of an ocean liner crossing the sea to understand this power. The captain, conscious, is on the bridge. He looks at the horizon and says, head north. Below in the bowels of the ship is the engine room, subconscious. There are immense furnaces and giant pistons. They do not see the sea. They do not know where they are going. If the captain says north, they move the engines to go north. But what if the captain shouts, I want to go north, I want to be rich? But the maps in the engine room and the instructions on the wall say, we always go south. Money is bad. I am poor. The ship will go south. The power of the engines defeats the shouts of the captain. You have spent years shouting conscious desires into the wind, but your subconscious has had contrary instructions recorded for decades, and always invariably, the subconscious wins. That is why willpower does not work in the long term. Willpower is the captain trying to push the ship with his own hands. It is exhausting and useless. To change course, you must change the orders in the engine room. To the archaeology of the soul, the weeds. Let's talk about your age. At 20, the garden is chaotic but young. The roots are tender. It is easy to pull them up. At 50, 60, or 80, some of those weeds have become trees with roots that embrace the stones. They are beliefs that you no longer even question because they seem like reality. You accept them as absolute truths today. At my age, it's already hard to learn. Weed. Money corrupts people. Poisonous weed. In my family, everyone dies of heart disease. Deadly weed. You have to suffer to earn your bread. Weed of slavery. These ideas are not yours. They were planted when you were a child in a state of natural hypnosis, absorbing everything. Now as an adult, you look at your garden and see scarcity. Do not blame yourself. You did not plant that consciously. But now that you see it, it is your responsibility to clean it. How do you pull up a 50-year-old belief? Not by fighting against it. If you try to cut a weed with hate, the root remains and it grows back stronger. The way to eliminate an old belief is to stop watering it and plant a new flower so close that it steals the nutrients from the old one. The old idea must die of starvation, lack of attention, while the new idea flourishes through excessive care. By focusing on the light, you naturally dissolve the shadows of your past programming. 3. The guardian of the threshold, the critical factor. Perhaps you have tried using positive affirmations in the past. You have looked in the mirror and said, I am rich, I am prosperous, and immediately you felt a voice in your stomach or your head responding, liar, you don't even have enough to pay the electric bill. You felt foolish and you stopped doing it. It felt wrong. Why did it fail? Because between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, there is a reinforced door. Psychologists call it the critical factor. It is the security guard. Its function is to protect the garden from sudden changes. If you have been poor for 40 years, the guardian stops the new thought at the gate. He checks his files and says, this does not match our historical programming. Access denied. And he rejects the thought. That is why trying to change your beliefs in broad daylight, using logic and brute force, is almost impossible. The guardian is awake and armed. But the guardian has a weakness. He gets tired and goes to sleep. 5e, the twilight state, the back door. Science tells us that the brain operates at different wave frequencies. Beta, when you are awake and alert, the guardian is active. Alpha and theta, states of deep relaxation or meditation. Delta, deep sleep. The magical state is theta. It is that moment just before falling asleep at night. Your body is heavy. Your thoughts become blurred, but you are not yet unconscious. It is the twilight. In that moment, the critical factor, the guardian, has gone to sleep, but the door to the subconscious remains wide open. It is the sacred moment. It is the hour of sowing. Most people use this moment to poison themselves with worry and fear. They lie down and start reviewing all the problems of the day. Tomorrow I have to pay that bill, my back hurts, I'm worried about my son. Without knowing it, they are entering the sacred garden and tossing trash into the fertile earth. And the subconscious says, understood, debt and pain, that is what you want for tomorrow. The lullaby technique, Neville Goddard. I want to give you a practical tool, something you can start doing this very night. It is a technique rescued by the great mystic Neville Goddard. We will call it the lullaby. When you get into bed tonight, do the following. Relax the body. Feel how it sinks into the mattress. Let the weight of the day fall away from you. Identify one single thing you desire, not a shopping list, one thing, health, or the solution to a financial problem. Condense that desire into a short phrase or a feeling. If you are sick, the phrase is not, I want to be healed. The phrase is, thank you for my perfect health. Or simply, thank you. Focus on the result now. If you have debts, the phrase is, it is done, or what a relief. Repeat that phrase or feeling over and over like a lullaby as you drift into sleep. Do not try to force it. Do it gently. The key is the feeling of relief. Imagine your problem is already solved. How would it feel? You would breathe better, you would feel peace. Capture that feeling of relief and fall asleep with it. By doing this, you are stepping over the sleeping guardian. You are depositing the seed of success directly into the fertile earth of the subconscious. While you sleep, your subconscious, which never sleeps, will be working on that seed, finding the coincidences to make it real. Vasi, the water of emotion. There is a technical detail we cannot ignore. A seed, no matter how good it is, does not germinate in dry earth. It needs water. In the language of the mind, the thought is the seed, but emotion is the water. You can think I am rich 1,000 times, but if you think it with fear or doubt, the seed is dry, it will not grow. Or worse, if you think about money but feel the anguish of the lack of money, you are watering the weed of scarcity. For the technique to work, you have to wet the seed. You have to feel the reality of what you are imagining. It does not have to be an explosive emotion. At our age, we do not seek the euphoria of a roller coaster. We seek the deep and serene emotion of certainty, the emotion of gratitude. Gratitude is the most potent fertilizer in the universe, because one only gives thanks when the favor has already been received. If you give thanks for your health before seeing results, you send an unmistakable signal. This is already real. And the subconscious, which does not distinguish between the real and the vividly imagined, will set to work to align your body with that new truth. By marinating in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you bypass the limitations of your current environment and anchor your consciousness in the fertile reality of your future success. 7. The farmer's patience. This is where your maturity works in your favor. The young person plants a seed today, and tomorrow digs it up to see if it has roots. By doing so, they kill it. The young want instant gratification. You, who have watched the seasons pass, know that nature has its rhythms. You understand the value of the quiet waiting period today. Once you have planted the seed in the night and watered it with the emotion of gratitude, leave it alone. During the day, when doubts arise, because they will, do not fight them. Simply tell yourself, it is already planted. Nature is doing its work. Do not obsess over the how or the when. Let the process unfold naturally. If you plant a tomato, you don't sit in front of the dirt and shout, "Grow, I'm hungry." You trust the intelligence of the seed and the power of the earth. Trust your own deep mind. It knows which paths to take. It knows which phone has to ring. It knows which cells to repair. Your job is to plant and water, the rest is done. Chapter 3. The Power of the Word, the Decree. The word is not just sound. It is not just air vibrating in your vocal cords. In all the great spiritual traditions of history, the word is considered the original creative force. Think of the book of Genesis. When God decides to create the universe, He does not move His hands, He does not use tools, He does not sweat today. God says, "Let there be light," and there was light. In the Gospel of John it reads, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." The ancient sages knew something we have forgotten. To speak is to create. Today, modern science proves them right in a fascinating way in our laboratories. Every time you speak, your voice emits a specific wave frequency. That wave travels through the air, but it also travels inward, through your bones and fluids, striking every cell in your body. Your body is listening to your voice all the time. Your immune system hears you. Your bank account, an extension of your energy, hears you. Welcome to Chapter 3. Today we are going to learn to stop using the word to describe your misfortune and start using it to prescribe your miracle. You will learn to command your reality with the authority of someone who knows the hidden laws of the universe. The vibration of your voice is the brush that paints your destiny now. The secret of abracadabra. Let me tell you a curious story. Surely you have heard the word abracadabra. Today we associate it with magicians at children's parties pulling rabbits out of hats. It seems like a game. But abracadabra is not a game. It is an ancient phrase coming from Aramaic, the language Jesus spoke. It is a formula of power. The original phrase is avracadabra, and its literal translation is chilling and powerful. I create as I speak. Think about it for a moment. I create as I speak. It is not a magic trick. It is a physical law. What comes out of your mouth is not carried away by the wind. What comes out of your mouth is a mold for reality. The universe is an immense photocopier that is constantly listening to what you say to print more of that in your life. If you say, "I am tired," the photocopier says, "Understood." Fatigue, "Here is more." If you say, "I have no money," it says, "Understood." Scarcity, "Let's block any extra income." It is an automatic response. You have been doing black magic against yourself for decades, simply by not understanding the power of your own tongue. Every complaint and every statement of lack has been a command given to the creative forces of life. It is time to change the orders you are sending to the printer. Change your speech to change your results now. Su verbal cement, the decrees of old age. At your age, there is a very dangerous cultural trap. It is a script that society hands you starting at 40, 50 or 60 years old, and which most people repeat like parrots. These are the decrees of deterioration. I want you to be honest. How many times have you said or thought phrases like these in the last week? At my age, it's already late for my memory is failing. It's the years. I don't have the energy for that anymore. Things are very bad. I'm getting old. Those pains are normal at my age. Every time you utter one of these phrases, you are pouring cement over your potential. You are signing a contract with decay today. Your subconscious does not understand jokes. It does not understand idioms. It does not understand venting. If you say, "My memory fails," your subconscious gives the order to your neurons to disconnect to fulfill your mandate. You are the boss. Your brain only obeys. You are ordering yourself to age poorly in this life. The Bible says death and life are in the power of the tongue. It is not a poetic metaphor. It is a technical warning. If you speak of illness, you invite illness. If you speak of loneliness, you ensure your isolation. The first step for the physics of the miracle is to close your mouth to negativity. Silence is better. Third, the self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's talk about neuroscience for a minute. There is something called neuroplasticity. Your brain changes physically according to what you think and say. If you repeat to yourself every day, "I am useless with technology," your brain literally weakens the neural connections responsible for technological learning today. You become clumsier on purpose just to be right. Human beings love to be right, even if it means being unhappy. When you say money is hard to earn, your eyes, controlled by your reticular system, Stop seeing easy opportunities. They only see hard work. You walk past a golden opportunity and don't see it because of your blinders. Your word becomes your cage. But the good news is that the key to the cage is in the same place, on your tongue. If the word can destroy, the word can build. We can reverse the process. We can use neuroplasticity to our advantage. By speaking your new truth, you physically rewire your mind to perceive and create it. Feel the power of I am. In Metaphysics, there are two words considered the most potent in the human vocabulary. They are the words I am or I exist. What you put after those two words is your destiny. It is a direct order to the universe regarding your identity. When you say I am diabetic, you are taking ownership of the disease today. You are making it part of your identity. It is no longer something your body has temporarily. It is what you are. It is very difficult to cure something that forms part of your identity. Change the language. Instead of I am diabetic, say I am going through a sugar regulation process. It feels different for your mind. It seems like a small change, but for your mind it is the difference between being a permanent victim or a temporary traveler. Never, under any circumstances, use I am for anything you do not want to see grow. Never say, I am poor. Say, I am in a moment of challenge, but my natural state is abundance. Choose well. Fee the word diet. This is where theory becomes practice. I want to propose a challenge to you, a 7-day challenge. We will call it the word diet. It is harder than any food diet because it requires constant vigilance. The rules are simple. 0 complaints. For 7 days, it is forbidden to complain about anything, not the weather or the pain. 0 negative judgments about yourself. It is forbidden to insult yourself, even in jest. Know how clumsy I am. Say, wow, I need to be more attentive. 0 gossip. Do not speak of the misfortunes of others. By speaking of a neighbor's illness, you are visualizing illness and attracting it to your own experience. At first, you will bite your tongue 100 times a day. You will realize how addicted you were to speaking poorly. But if you manage to hold on, by the 3rd or 4th day, you will notice something incredible. Your energy level will rise. Your pains will decrease. Bad luck will stop visiting you. You are finally clean. Thus, the art of blessing. There is an ancient word we have forgotten. To bless. To bless means literally to speak well, to say good things. To curse means to speak ill. You have the power to bless your life. Bless your money every time you pay a bill. Instead of saying, oh, how expensive, say thank you because I have the money to pay. I bless this money so that it serves the one who receives it and returns to me multiplied. By blessing the money that goes out, you put an elastic band on it so it comes back. Bless your body. When your knee hurts, do not curse it. Do not say, damned old knee. Place your hand on it and say, thank you for supporting me. I bless you and send you light so that you recover. Cells respond to love. They contract before hate. Speak to your body as you would speak to a frightened child, not as an enemy. By treating your biology with words of kindness, you initiate a healing process that medicine cannot explain. Your words are your medicine today. Chapter 4. The Law of the Harvest, the Gestation Time. When looking through the window of your life, the landscape looks exactly the same as yesterday. The bank account still shows the same worrying numbers. The back pain is still there when you get up. Loneliness still occupies the empty side of the bed. And then, an insidious voice, the voice of the impatient old man, whispers in your ear today. This is nonsense. It doesn't work. You've been trying for a week and nothing has changed. You've wasted your time. This, dear friend, is the breaking point. This is where 90% of people abandon the path of the miracle and return to the path of suffering, just when they were about to see the first green sprout. It is the final test of faith. We live in an age that has declared war on time. We want instant coffee. We want real-time news. We want to send a message and have it answered in 3 seconds. We have grown accustomed to digital speed. But you and I know a fundamental truth. Nature does not work with Amazon Prime. You cannot plant an oak today and expect shade tomorrow. You cannot get a woman pregnant and expect the baby to be born the following week because you are in a hurry. Everything in the physical universe, from the smallest blade of grass to the largest galaxy, is governed by an immutable law. The Law of Gestation. Welcome to Chapter 4. Today we are going to learn the lost art of active patience. We are going to understand that the silence of the universe is not a refusal, it is a cooking process. We are going to learn to wait, not with the anxiety of one who doubts, but with the quiet certainty of the farmer who knows that, beneath the dark earth, life is currently making its way through the soil toward the light of the sun now. Face the illusion of failure, what happens underground. Let's talk about agriculture, the most ancient and sacred science. When a farmer sows a field of wheat, he does the hard work first. He plows the earth, fertilizes the soil, and scatters the seed. Then he covers the seed with earth, and he goes home. The next day he goes out to the field. What does he see? Nothing but brown, sterile dirt. The following week he goes out to the field. What does he see? Nothing. Brown earth. If that farmer had no faith or knowledge, he would think, I have failed. I have wasted my seed and my sweat. Nothing grows here. He might panic, desperately dig holes to look for the seeds, or simply abandon the field to let it fill with weeds today. But the farmer knows something that the eyes do not see. He knows that beneath the surface, a frantic activity is taking place. The hard shell of the seed is breaking due to the moisture. A tiny white root is searching downward for water. A tiny green stem is pushing the earth upward, seeking the sun. It is a biological miracle. The fact that it is not seen does not mean it is not happening. In fact, the most critical moment of the plant's life occurs in total darkness. Your life works the same way. When you start changing your thoughts and your words, you are sowing in the quantum world, the invisible world. Your new vibration is starting to move strings now. It is attracting the right people. It is aligning circumstances. But all of this happens underground. You don't see that your future business partner just had the idea that will lead them to meet you. You don't see that your body is starting to produce new healthy cells at a microscopic level. Everything seems the same, but it's not. The tragic mistake is to judge the success of your planting by the immediate appearance of the surface. At your age, you already know that good things are cooked over a low flame. A quick stew only calms hunger. A slow stew feeds the soul. Your miracle is a slow stew. Trust the unseen work being done by the laws of the universe today. To the lesson of the Chinese bamboo, there is a plant that is the absolute master of this law, the Chinese bamboo. It is a perfect analogy for the great dreams you may have at this stage of your life. When the seed of the Chinese bamboo is planted, it must be watered and fertilized constantly. During the first year, nothing comes out of the earth. Not even a sprout today. During the second year, you keep watering. Nothing third year, nothing fourth year, nothing. Most people reaching the fourth year without results would stop watering. They would think the seed is dead or rotten, but the wise grower keeps watering. And then, in the fifth year, the miracle happens. It is a sudden explosion of life. In a period of only 6 weeks, the bamboo grows to reach 30 meters in height. Did it grow 30 meters in 6 weeks? No. It grew 30 meters in 5 years and 6 weeks. During the 4 years of silence, the bamboo was developing a gigantic and deep root system, capable of sustaining the monumental height it was going to reach later. If it had grown earlier without those roots, the first wind would have knocked it down. Perhaps you have been watering dreams for years that do not bloom. Perhaps you feel that you have been a good person, worked hard, and life has not rewarded you. I want you to change your perspective today. You have not wasted your time now. You have been growing roots. You have been developing the character, resilience, and wisdom necessary to sustain the blessing that is coming. If you had been given a fortune at age 20, perhaps you would have squandered it and destroyed yourself. Now, at your age, you have the roots to handle the harvest without success destroying you. Third, the buffer of mercy. There is another reason why lag time exists, and it is a reason for which we should thank God every day. Imagine for a moment that manifestation was instantaneous. Imagine that every thought that crossed your mind became reality on the spot. You are driving and someone cuts you off abruptly. You have a thought of rage today. I hope you crash. Boom, they crash. Then you think of your children and have a sudden fear. I hope nothing bad happens to them. Zap. Something bad happens. If your thoughts manifested instantly, your life would be a horror movie. We would have gone extinct centuries ago. Time is a buffer of mercy. It protects us from ourselves. The universe knows that we are emotional and volatile beings. It knows that sometimes we think nonsense that we don't really desire. Lag time gives us the opportunity to rectify. If you have a negative thought today, nothing happens. You haven't planted an oak yet, you've only thrown a seed. If you change it, it won't grow. For something to manifest, it requires persistence. It requires you to water the seed day after day. Delay is your safety net. It allows you to select which thoughts you want to cultivate and which you want to discard before they become physical reality. So do not curse the wait, thank it. It is proof the universe protects you. V. The dark night of the seed. Let's go back to the seed underground. For the seed to become a plant, something violent has to happen. It has to break. The shell that protects the seed has to be destroyed so that life can come out. If the seed could feel, it would feel pain. It would feel that it is the end. I am falling apart. Everything is dark today. Everything is dark, and there is a lot of pressure on me. The seed would think it is dying when in reality it is being born. Often, just before a great positive change manifests in your life, things seem to get worse. It is the chaos that precedes order. We call this the dark night. It is the final resistance of the old world. Perhaps you start visualizing prosperity, and suddenly an unexpected bill arrives. Perhaps you start visualizing health, and you get a bad cold. Do not be afraid. It is the shell breaking. It is the old structure of your reality crumbling to leave space for the new. When you see everything shaking, do not run backward today. Do not say, "This doesn't work. I was better off before." Stand firm. Tell yourself, this is the sign that the change is happening. The seed has broken. The sprout is on its way. Darkness is necessary for germination. Do not fear the silence of God. It is in the silence where He works best. Trust the pressure of the birth. V. The sin of digging up, doubt. What is the fastest way to kill your miracle? Constant doubt. Imagine you order a package by mail. They tell you it arrives in 5 days. Do you spend those 5 days calling the mail company every 10 minutes screaming, "Where is it? Why isn't it here?" Do you sit at the door of your house in anguish, crying because it's not there? No. You make the order and you forget. You trust. You know it is on its way. You go on with your life. That is faith. But with our life desires, we behave like neurotic children. We ask for healing, and 5 minutes later we look in the mirror for symptoms, and seeing no change, we say it doesn't work. We dig up the seed now. Every time you doubt and deny your desire, it is as if you went to the garden, put in the shovel and dug up the seed to see if it has roots. By exposing it to light prematurely, you kill it. You have to start all over from zero. Adult faith, mature faith, is the ability to walk by the unseen. It is a quiet internal strength today. It is the ability to behave like a healthy person before the tests confirm it. It is the ability to feel the peace of solvency while the bills are still on the table. That requires temper. It requires character. But you have that character. Life has forged you for this. Leave the seed alone. Stop checking the mail constantly. 5 signs of land, the birds. When Christopher Columbus was crossing the Atlantic, there was a moment when the crew wanted to mutiny. They had spent weeks seeing only water. They had lost faith. They believed they were going to die lost in nothingness. And then, one day, they saw something small floating in the water. A branch. Then they saw birds. They didn't see land yet, but they knew that birds do not fly far from the coast. Those signs renewed their faith. They knew that land was near. In your manifestation process, there will also be birds. They usually appear in the form of synchronicities or meaningful coincidences. They are subtle winks from the universe today. You are thinking about improving your health, and suddenly you run into an old friend who tells you about a new doctor. You need money, and suddenly you find a bill on the ground, or you get a small refund. You think of someone and they call you. These are not accidents. They are the birds announcing firm land. Trust them. The mistake is to despise small signs. Bah, I found 10 pesos, but I need 10,000. This is useless. Error. The energy is the same. Manifesting a cent and manifesting 1,000,000 requires the same law, only the scale changes. If you despise the small, you stop the big. When you see a sign, celebrate it, the rest comes behind. Thus, active waiting, preparing the barn. So what do you do while you wait? Do you sit on the sofa staring at the ceiling? No, that is laziness, not faith. There is an Eastern concept called Wu Wei, often translated as no action, but it really means effortless action. I prefer to call it active waiting. Imagine you pray for rain because there is a drought today. You pray with faith, but you go out without an umbrella. Do you really believe it will rain? No, if you believed, you would carry an umbrella. Active waiting means preparing to receive. If you are asking the universe for love, make space in your closet. Sleep on one side of the bed. Buy 2 coffee mugs. Prepare the stage. If you are asking for clients, have the forms ready. Have your suit ironed. Organize your agenda as if you were going to be very busy tomorrow. If you ask for health, plan the trips you will take. This demonstrates to your subconscious that your expectation is real. No one sets the table if they don't expect guests today. 8. Kairos time. The ancient Greeks had 2 words for time. Chronos, the time of the clock. Seconds, minutes, hours, the time that stresses us and ages us. Kairos, God's time, the opportune moment. The time of quality, not quantity. You live trapped in Chronos. I am 60 years old, I'm running out of time, but manifestation is Kairos. The miracle arrives when you are ready to receive it, not a second before or after. Sometimes the universe delays something because you still have lessons to learn, or because the puzzle pieces have not aligned perfectly. If you had been given what you wanted a year ago, perhaps it would have been a disaster. Trust the plan. God is never late. He sometimes arrives at the last minute, yes, to test our faith, but never late. Relax. Look back at your life. Isn't it true that many things that seemed like tragedies ended up leading you to better places? With the perspective of years, you can see there was a plan. That plan is active. You are in good hands. Chapter 5. The Radio of the Heart, Vibration and Feeling. Many intellectuals and thinkers have studied the law of attraction and failed miserably. They have written their goals 1,000 times. They have made vision boards. They have visualized with architectural precision, and they remain poor, alone, or sick today. Why? Because they tried to communicate with God using only logic. And the universe does not speak logic. The universe does not speak Spanish, English, or Latin. The universe speaks only one language, vibration. And the organ that emits the most powerful vibration in your body is not your brain, it is your heart. Welcome to Chapter 5. Today we will stop thinking our miracle to start feeling it now. Today we are going to discover why a prayer recited from memory does not reach heaven, but a sigh of sincere gratitude moves mountains. We are going to learn how to turn on the radio of the heart. We will bridge the gap between the intellect and the spirit, allowing your deepest desires to resonate with the creative force of all existence today. Dare the brain versus the heart, the battle of the fields. Let me share a scientific fact that changed my view of the world, and will likely change yours. For centuries, medicine believed the heart was simply a hydraulic pump, a piece of muscle that moved blood, nothing more. We believed the brain was the king, the boss, the general manager. But recent decades have discovered something amazing. Institutions like the HeartMath Institute have found that the heart has its own little brain. It has about 40,000 specialized neurons that think, feel, and remember independently of the head. But the most impactful part is this. The heart generates an electromagnetic field. The electrical component is 60 times stronger than the brain. The magnetic component is 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. What does this mean for you? It means your brain is like a small flashlight battery, and your heart is like an industrial high-voltage generator. You can spend 24 hours a day thinking about money with your small brain battery, but the heart signal is what truly counts. If in your heart you feel fear of poverty with your industrial generator, who do you think wins? The generator wins. Always. The magnetic field of the heart can be measured several meters away from your body. You are a walking broadcasting antenna. If your thought signal says, "I want health," but your emotional signal screams fear, the field responds. The universe receives the fear signal. It is the one with the most volume. This is why empty affirmations do not work. Saying, "I am happy," with clenched teeth and a heart full of bitterness is a waste of time. It is static noise. To tune into the frequency of God, we need the head and the heart to agree. We need heart coherence today. 2. The parable of the antique radio. Go back to the image of the radio we used in the introduction. Imagine that the station Abundance FM broadcasts on frequency 101.5. On that station, cheerful music, news of opportunities, and melodies of peace are playing. But your internal radio is tuned to frequency 88.5, the Complaint AM station. It is a very different sound. On that station, only sad tangos and news of crises are heard. You want to hear the music of abundance. So you start to think, I wish cheerful music would play. But you do not touch the dial. Does the music change? No. You scream at the radio, I am a positive person, I deserve cheerful music. Does the music change? No. The radio, impassive, continues playing the sad song of complaint. To change the music, you have to perform a physical and deliberate act. Turn the knob. In a human being, turning the knob means changing the emotion. Emotion is the tuning. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you feel. You are the broadcast today. If you feel lack, you tune into lack. If you feel gratitude, you tune into prosperity. Here arises the great paradox. How am I going to feel prosperity if I have no money? How can I feel healthy if my body hurts? First, let the music change. Then I will feel happy. That is the logic of the world, and that is why the world is as it is. The physics of the miracle operates in reverse. First you turn the dial, change the feeling, and then the signal comes in, change reality. You have to dare to feel rich before seeing the money. You have to dare to feel healthy before seeing the healing. You have to feel loved in the solitude of your room so that love knocks now. 30. The feeling is the secret. Neville Goddard. The great master Neville Goddard left us a lapidary phrase, feeling is the secret. Not intellectual thought, but visceral feeling. The universe is blind to your circumstances, but it is hypersensitive to your vibration. If you can generate here and now the emotion you would feel if your wish were already fulfilled, you win. The universe has no choice but to send you that desire. It is a law, it is like gravity, it cannot fail. Let's do a mental exercise. Think of something you deeply desire. Say, the healing of a chronic ailment. If tomorrow the doctor called you and said, it's a miracle, your tests are perfect, how would you feel in that moment today? Close your eyes. Imagine it. Would you jump for joy? Perhaps not. At your age, we seek calm. You would probably let out a deep sigh. Your shoulders would drop. You would feel a warmth in your chest. You would feel an immense peace, a silent gratitude that would fill your eyes with tears. You would say, thank you, my God. What a relief. That is the feeling. That specific vibration of relief and peace is the 101.5 frequency of healing. Your task, your only real job, is to practice that feeling now. Even if your knee hurts, even if the medical report says otherwise, if you can close your eyes and inhabit that feeling for 5 minutes, you are turning the dial. IV, gratitude, the master frequency. Among all human emotions, there is one that is the absolute queen of manifestation. More potent than joy, more stable than euphoria. It is gratitude. Why is it so powerful? Because of a matter of temporal logic. You can have hope for something that hasn't happened. You can have faith in something that is going to happen today, but you only feel gratitude for something that has already happened. When you give thanks, you are sending the clearest possible signal to the universe. I already have it. It is the signing of the receipt. If you thank for your money before it arrives, you are collapsing time. You are bringing the future into the present moment. Gratitude cancels doubt. You cannot be grateful and worried at the same time. They are incompatible frequencies. If you are worried, you are in the frequency of absence. If you are grateful, you are in the frequency of presence. At your age, looking back and being grateful is easy. But the challenge is to be grateful forward now. It is waking up and saying, thank you, Father, for this wonderful day I am going to have. Thank you for the good news on the way. Thank you for the vitality in my veins. By doing so, you are paving your day with gold. You are predisposed to receive. The universe says, he is grateful for good news. Quick, send him some to match his reality. Feed the intelligent heart, coherence technique. How do we turn on this generator when we feel bad? Sometimes sadness or fear catches us. It is normal. We are human. I don't want you to repress negative emotions, but I want to give you a quick technique based on heart math science. Focus. Bring your attention to the center of your chest. Place your hand over your heart if it helps. Breathing. Breathe a bit slower and deeper than normal. Imagine the air does not enter through your nose but flows directly in and out through your heart, as if your chest had lungs. Inhale love, exhale tension. Feeling. As you breathe through the heart, bring to mind a moment when you felt genuinely good and at peace today. It doesn't have to be grand. It can be the smile of your grandchild, the peace of a sunset, the affection for a pet. Choose a memory that makes you smile softly. Relive that sensation. Amplify it. Let that warmth fill your chest. Do this for 2 or 3 minutes. Do you know what is happening? Your heart rate regularizes and your blood pressure drops. Your brain stops producing cortisol and starts producing DHEA, the vitality hormone. Your magnetic field expands and becomes harmonious. You have turned the dial. You have left the station of fear and entered the station of love. From this state, and only from this state, can you ask for your miracle. The line is now open. 5. The danger of unconscious tuning. I must warn you. This radio is always on. You never stop broadcasting, even when you sleep. The problem is that most people leave the dial stuck on the frequency of the past. They wake up and the first thing they do is remember their problems. They tune into yesterday's pain. Oh, my back. Oh, I'm so alone. It is a habit today. By reactivating those old emotions, you are ordering the universe. Give me more of the same. You are cloning your past into your future. Breaking this habit requires vigilance. When you catch yourself falling into an emotional rut, do not judge yourself. Simply say, "Oops, the dial moved. This music is not for me." Turn it back. 7. Inverting the process. Traditional teaching told us, have I tarot, do I tarot be. When I have money, I will do fun things and then I will be happy. The physics of the miracle says, be I tarot, do I tarot have. First, I am happy and abundant. From that state, I do inspired things. And as a result, I have abundance. It is a total shift in perspective for you today. You don't need your wife to change to love her. Love her first in your heart and you will see her change. You don't need the government to change to feel secure. Feel secure in divine providence, and your world will remain stable even if the world shakes. Power always goes from the inside out, never the other way around. Be the source. Third, daily practice, the frequency baths. At your age, you know how important hygiene is. We wash our bodies and teeth every day, but we rarely wash our vibration. We go out into the street dirty with fear and anguish. I propose a new habit, the frequency bath. Do it in the morning before getting out of bed or while having coffee. Spend 5 minutes tuning your radio today. Do not start the day reading the newspaper or watching news designed to lower your frequency. Start by remembering 3 things for which you are grateful. Feel the hot coffee and be thankful. Look at the sun and be thankful. Feel that you are alive and be thankful. Raise your vibration until you feel a small smile. You are connected now. That smile is the sign that the Wi-Fi of God is active. Now go out into the world. You will see how your day flows differently. Traffic lights will turn green. People will be kinder. Problems will be solved easier. It is not luck, it is tuning. You are listening to classical music, so the noise of the street no longer bothers you. So now see the coverage of love. To close this chapter, I want to talk about protection. When you vibrate high in the frequency of love and gratitude, you become invisible to misfortune. It is as if a plane were flying above the storm. Below it rains and thunders. Above, the sun shines. Low vibration problems cannot touch you because you are on another floor now. They vibrate at different frequencies. They do not meet. The best protection for your old age is not insurance or an alarm. The best protection is keeping your radio tuned to the frequency of God. In that frequency, nothing bad can enter. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. That shelter is your vibration. That shadow is your magnetic field radiating peace. Now we have the complete car. Clear mind, steering wheel, impeccable word, bodywork, wise patience, wheels, vibrant heart, engine and gasoline. But there is one more factor. Any machine wears out if it is not maintained. You need fuel today. Any battery drains if used without recharging. You need energy to maintain this high tuning. And there are things in your life, old grudges, guilts, bad habits, that are stealing your battery without you noticing. If you are tired, you cannot manifest. Chapter 6, Sacred Vitality, Health and Energy. Imagine for a moment the most beautiful car in the world. It has the perfect bodywork, the finest leather seats, the most sophisticated engine, and the most advanced navigation system. You sit at the wheel, you turn the key, and nothing happens. The engine does not roar, the lights do not turn on. The car is an inert object today. Why? Because the battery is dead. Without that invisible electric spark, all mechanical engineering is useless. The car cannot fulfill its purpose of taking you anywhere. You, dear listener, are that sacred vehicle. In previous chapters, we have tuned your engine, the heart, and cleaned your windshield, the mind. You are ready. We have programmed your GPS, the word. But if you wake up in the morning dragging your feet, if you need 3 cups of coffee just to start functioning, if you reach 6 in the evening feeling like you cannot take another step, then we have a battery problem. No matter how much you desire abundance or peace, you need energy today. If you do not have the vital energy to sustain that vibration, your radio signal will be weak. It will be a whisper that the universe will barely hear. Welcome to Chapter 6. Today we are going to talk about your most precious resource, a resource that, unlike money, cannot be kept in the bank forever but must be renewed every day. We are going to talk about your sacred vitality. And I don't just mean not being sick, I mean having that spark, that twinkle in the eyes that some 80-year-olds have who seem younger than others at 40. We will discover where your energy is leaking and how to seal those cracks so you can manifest your miracles with power today. For God's fuel, chi, prana, or life force. In our Western culture, we have a very mechanical view of health. We believe the body is a machine of flesh and bone that works by burning calories. If we pour food, gasoline in, the body goes. If a part breaks, we go to the mechanic, doctor, to change or patch it. But ancient traditions, those who knew how to live long, saw more. The Chinese call it chi. The Hindus call it prana. The Hebrews call it ruach. It is the life force. It is the subtle energy that animates matter. It is what differentiates a sleeping body from a dead body. Chemically they are the same, but in one the spark dwells and in the other it does not. This energy is the universe's currency. To create anything, a business, a healthy relationship, a work of art, a healing, you must pay with vital energy. You must invest your chai. At your age, it is normal to feel that this energy is no longer an infinite torrent as it was when you were 20. But I have good news. It's not that you have less energy, you have more leaks today. The amount of energy God sends you each day is enough to live fully and create miracles. The problem is that your tank has holes. You wake up with a full tank, but by noon it is already empty, and not because you ran a marathon. It is because the energy is spilling through invisible cracks in your psyche. We must plug them now. South the vampire of the past, resentment. Let's talk about the biggest, most dangerous, and most common leak in maturity. It is a silent leak that can drain 50% of your daily vitality without you moving a finger. It is called resentment. You have lived a long life. It is inevitable that you have been hurt. Maybe it was a partner who cheated you 20 years ago in business. Maybe it was a sibling who behaved poorly regarding your parents' inheritance. Maybe it was an ex-husband or ex-wife who broke your heart. Maybe it was your own parents. And you, with all the reason in the world, keep that pain. You believe that by remembering what they did, you are punishing the culprit. You think it is justice. Let me tell you a brutal but necessary truth. Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Maintaining an old grievance requires a colossal amount of energy. Your subconscious has to work actively to keep the image of the offense alive, to recreate the anger, and to tense your muscles today. It is like leaving a heavy app open on your phone all the time. The battery drains, the phone heats up, and it runs slowly. At 20, one has plenty of energy to waste on hating. At 60 or 80, resentment is a luxury you cannot afford. You need that energy for your kidneys, for your heart, and to enjoy your grandchildren. You need it now. You cannot give your vitality to the one who hurt you. Forgiveness, in the physics of the miracle, is not a moral or religious act. It is not about saying what you did was okay. Forgiveness is an act of selfish intelligence. Forgiving is saying, my energy is too valuable to waste on you. I release you and I reclaim my life today. I withdraw my energy from this memory and bring it back to my body to use in my healing. Take an inventory today. Whom are you keeping alive with your anger? Cut the cable. Stop feeding ghosts. The moment you let go of resentment, you will feel a stream of physical energy returning to you. It is a physical weight lifting off you. Those chronic back pains, that heartburn, often disappear magically when we release the weight of the past. By letting go of the need to be right about your pain, you open the door to a level of physical wellness you haven't felt in years. Your body has been waiting for this release to finally begin its natural repair today. Thirst the sack of stones, guilt. If resentment toward others is a serious leak, resentment toward oneself is deadly. Guilt. As we age and look back, it is easy to fall into the if only I had trap. If I had accepted that job. If I had treated my children better. If I hadn't spent that money. Guilt is a sack of stones you carry today. You decide to load it onto your back every morning. Try climbing a mountain carrying a sack of stones. You won't be able to. You will be exhausted within 100 meters. You want to climb the mountain of manifestation, but you carry the weight of your mistakes from 1995. Listen to me. You did the best you could back then. You acted with the level of consciousness you had at that moment. If you had known more, you would have acted differently, but you didn't know more. You were younger, more inexperienced, perhaps more hurt. Judging your past self with the wisdom of your present self is unfair and cruel. God has already forgiven you today. The universe keeps no record of mistakes, only of learnings. The only one still punishing you is you, and while you punish yourself, your vital energy is consumed by the whip. Let go of the sack. Tell yourself, I learned the lesson. I paid the price. Now I am free. The energy you release will rejuvenate you by 10 years now. Try the thief of the future, worry. We have already plugged the leaks of the past, resentment and guilt. Now let's look at the leaks of the future, worry. Worry is the incorrect use of imagination. It is using your creative power to visualize things you do not want to happen. But furthermore, it is a useless waste of energy. Most worries never happen. It has been estimated that 90% of the things we worry about never occur. However, your body doesn't know that. When you sit in your chair worrying about your finances or your children's health, your body reacts as if the catastrophe were already happening. Your heart races, your adrenals pump cortisol, and digestion stops. You are burning high-octane fuel to run in circles. You end the day exhausted, and you have solved nothing. At your age, you should already know that most dramas resolve themselves or are not as serious as they seem. Adopt a posture of radical trust. When a worried thought comes, ask, can I do something right now? If the answer is yes, do it. Action. If the answer is no, let it go. Faith. Worrying about what you cannot control is like trying to push the river. The river flows on its own. Save your strength for swimming. By trusting the flow of life, you preserve your energy for the moments where your action can actually make a difference. The biological temple, nutrition and movement. So far we have talked about subtle energy, but we cannot ignore the biological machine. Your body is the temple where your spirit dwells. If the temple has leaks and broken windows, the spirit is not comfortable. I am not going to give you a fad diet or ask you to run marathons. That is for the 20-year-olds. Use wisdom. Eat light. Your body needs condensed sunlight. That means fruits, vegetables, things that grow from the earth. As we age, our ability to process dead food, processed goods, refined flours, excess industrial meat decreases. That food doesn't give you energy. It steals it because your body spends a fortune digesting it today. Do an experiment. Eat living food for a week. You will see how your mind clears. Hydration. We are water. A dehydrated brain is a slow and fearful brain. Drink water as if it were sacred medicine. Bless it before drinking it. Joyful movement. The body is designed to move until the last day. But it must not be a punishment. Forget about no pain, no gain. That is aggression. Look for movement that gives you pleasure. Walking, dancing, swimming, gentle yoga, tai chi. The goal is not to have abs of steel. The goal is for the energy, the chai, to circulate. Stagnant water rots. Running water stays clean. Move your waters to keep your spirit vibrant now. Phrase God's breath, breathing. There is an instant, free and powerful way to recharge the battery at any time and place. Most adults have forgotten how to do it. I am talking about breathing. Observe how you breathe right now. It is likely a short, shallow breath that only reaches the upper part of the chest. That is the breath of anxiety and survival. It tells your body, we are in danger, save energy. When you breathe deeply, taking the air down to the abdomen, you are doing something magical. You are massaging your internal organs. You are oxygenating your blood. But above all, you are connecting with the spirit. In many ancient tongues, the words are the same today. Spirit and breath are the same. Pneuma in Greek, ruach in Hebrew. To inhale is to let the spirit in. When you feel tired, blocked, or scared, stop. Take 3 deep, slow, and conscious breaths. Imagine you are not breathing air, but breathing light. Imagine that light enters your nose and recharges every cell in your body now. Imagine your cells are small golden batteries. It is the universe's fast charger. Use it. By consciously controlling your breath, you bridge the gap between your physical body and your divine essence. This simple act brings you back to the present moment, where all your power resides and where fear cannot find a place to stay. 7. The inner pharmacy, the placebo effect. Modern medicine sometimes makes us feel helpless. It makes us believe health comes in a pill. Pills are useful, bless them, but the true healer is your own body. There is a phenomenon that science studies with awe, the placebo effect. A patient is given a sugar pill and told it is potent medicine, and the patient heals. Who healed the patient? The sugar? No. It was their belief. It was their own inner pharmacy activated by the expectation of healing. Your body is capable of producing painkillers more powerful than morphine and natural anti-cancer agents. But it needs the chemical order to do so. That order comes from your thoughts now. If you live talking about your pains, visiting doctors as a hobby, and reading about diseases, you are ordering your inner pharmacy to close. If you start talking about vitality, thanking for what does work in your body, and visualizing yourself healthy, you open the pharmacy doors. You are the best doctor you will ever have. 30. Sacred sleep, repair. Finally, let's talk about the repair shop, sleep. I know that after a certain age, sleep becomes elusive. We wake up several times or we get up very early, but sleep is the moment when your soul returns to the source to recharge and when your body repairs tissues. If you do not sleep well, you do not manifest well today. Insomnia is often the inability to let go of control. It is the ego standing guard all night. To sleep better, you must learn to die every night. Hand over your worries to God before closing your eyes. Say, Lord, the world is yours. I have done my part today. Now I give you the watchman's shift. I am going to rest now. Create a sacred ritual before sleeping. Do not watch the news, do not argue, read something spiritual. Listen to soft music. Give thanks. Prepare your mind to travel to the planes of light, not to the nightmares of worry. By surrendering your night to the divine, you ensure that you wake up with the vitality needed for a new day. Dante, practice the energy scan. To finish this chapter, I propose an energy audit exercise. Take a paper and a pencil, draw a battery like the one on a cell phone, and ask yourself honestly, who steals my energy? Complainers, toxic relationships. What activities leave me empty? Watching news, arguing politics. What thoughts exhaust me? Guilt, fear. And now the positive list. Who gives me energy? That optimistic friend, your grandchildren. What activities fill me? Gardening, walking, painting, praying. What thoughts uplift me? Gratitude, hope. Your job, starting today, is simple. Reduce the first list and increase the second. You have the right to protect your energy. You have the right to say no to commitments that drain you. At your age, time is gold, but energy is diamond. Do not give your diamonds to those who only want to throw stones. When you plug the leaks and increase the input, something wonderful happens. The tank fills to overflowing, and that overflow becomes magnetism. You become a radiant person. People want to be near you. Opportunities find you. Disease finds no fertile ground to nest in. You have reclaimed your sacred vitality. Now you have a clear mind and a charged battery. The car is ready to run. But where are we going? If you have energy but no direction, you only spin faster. You need a GPS. You need a focus. The universe is an infinite catalogue of possibilities. To receive what you want, you have to know how to look for it, but not looking for it outside, but training your eyes to see it. In the next chapter, we will talk about programming your attention system. We will talk about the lighthouse now. Chapter 7. The Lighthouse and the Compass, Attention and Intention. Walk with me in your mind down a busy street in your city. An architect, a pickpocket, and a botanist walk together. They travel the same sidewalk at the same hour under the same sun. At the end, we ask them what they saw. The architect will speak of cornices and ancient moldings. The pickpocket will speak of pockets and bags today. The botanist will speak of the weeds growing between the cobblestones and the flowers on the balconies. All three traveled the same physical world. However, they lived in three completely different realities. The pickpocket did not see the moldings. The architect did not see the flowers. Why? Because their brains had different instructions. Their eyes saw everything, but their minds only registered what was important to them. This, dear listener, is the definitive proof that you do not see the world with your eyes. You see the world with your mind. Your reality is not defined by what happens outside, but by where you place your focus. Your brain is programmed to hunt now. If you feel that your life is full of rude people and scarcity, it is because you are an expert at finding that. Your brain is currently hunting for misfortunes. Welcome to Chapter 7. Today we will take control of the two most powerful navigation tools God has given you. The lighthouse, your attention, and the compass, your intention today. The lighthouse illuminates what exists. The compass decides where we are going. When you learn to handle both, you will stop being a victim of circumstances to become the architect of your own luck. You will navigate the seas of life with precision, finding the treasures that were always hidden in plain sight, waiting for your light. Try the doorman of your mind, the RAS. To understand how your luck works, we have to talk about biology. At the base of your brain, there is a set of neurons called the reticular activating system, RAS. Think of it as the doorman of an exclusive club or the world's most efficient secretary. Your senses receive millions of bits of information per second. It is an avalanche. If your conscious brain had to process all that, you would go crazy in an instant. To protect you, the doorman has one mission: to filter. He blocks 99.9% of the information and only lets 0.1% pass to your consciousness. And how does the doorman decide what gets in? He lets in what you have told him is important to you in your life today. And here is the trap. How does the doorman know what is important? He based it on what you focus on and talk about all day. If you spend your time talking about your pains and the economy, the doorman takes note. Priority, problems. And then, magically, you start seeing crises everywhere. You notice every little sting in your body now. It is not that there are more tragedies. It is that the doorman is letting them all into the VIP room of your mind, while leaving out the smiles and opportunities. You are literally blinding yourself to the good that surrounds you because you have trained your internal security to only look for threats. It is time to change the guest list. 2. The red car syndrome. Surely this has happened to you. You decide to buy a car, a specific red model. Before deciding, you almost never saw that car. But the day you decide, you go out and miracle. There are red cars everywhere. Your neighbor has one. There are 3 at the light. Did the factory distribute thousands overnight? No, they were always there. They were invisible to you because they were not relevant. The doorman filtered them out. The moment you put your attention and intention on that car, they became visible. This phenomenon is the key to your prosperity. Money opportunities are out there, circulating like red cars. The people who can help you are already out there today. The treatments for your health are out there. The reasons to be happy are out there. But you do not see them. You are blind to the blessing because you are obsessed with seeking the curse. You have been using this superpower against yourself. You have been looking for red cars of misfortune. and your brain finds them for you now. Surely it will rain. Surely the bank line will be long, and your obedient brain finds the rain and the long line. We are going to reprogram the doorman. We are going to tell him to look for something else. We will train him to ignore the grey and find the gold that is currently waiting for your recognition and your command today. This is the lighthouse. Where you put attention, you put life. Imagine you are in a huge dark room full of furniture, jewels, but also trash. You have a flashlight, your attention. If you point it at the trash, you will say, "This room is disgusting," and you will be right. But if you turn your wrist 1 inch toward the beautiful painting on the wall, you will say, "How beautiful." You are right. The room did not change. The objects did not move. The only thing that changed was the focus. In your current life, you have an accumulation of things. You have pains and losses, trash, but you also have wisdom, family, and a roof, jewels. The physics of the miracle dictates what you withdraw attention from withers and dies now. What you give attention to grows and multiplies. If you pay constant attention to your back pain, measuring it and talking about it, you are feeding it. The pain becomes the protagonist. If you learn the art of withdrawing attention from the pain and putting it on gratitude for your heart, the pain loses its lead role in your day. This is not denial. If you must go to the doctor, go, but do not take the illness home in your mind. Do not put a bed for it in your mental room. Treat problems as errands. Do them and forget them. Refocus your flashlight on the jewels. By starving the negative of your focus, you allow the positive to finally take up the space today. IV, the compass, the power of clear intention. If the lighthouse illuminates the present, the compass decides the future. Most people live without a compass. They are corks floating in the sea, carried by the current of the news. They wake up and say, "Let's see what happens today." That is a recipe for disaster. If you have no plan for your mind, the world has one for you. Intention is different from desire. Desire is weak. I would like to have more money is a desire. It is passive. Intention is active. I intend to find new sources of income today. Intention is an order to the doorman. It is setting the GPS coordinates. You are taking the wheel and deciding the direction of your journey now. I propose a morning ritual. Before leaving bed, calibrate your compass. Set the intention of the day. Say, "Today I intend to see kindness in people." Or, "Today I intend to receive good news." By doing this, you are programming your brain's search filters. You go out and your brain starts scanning for kindness or ease. And you know what? You will find them. Because they were always there waiting for you to look for them. By declaring your intention, you activate the creative forces of the universe to align with your path. You move from being a passive observer to being an active creator of the day's events. Your compass is now set to success. Be the blessing hunter. I want to invite you to play a game for the rest of your life. Become a blessing hunter. Imagine you are a gold prospector. The prospector moves tons of dirt and stones, daily routine and problems, looking for a small shiny nugget. When he finds it, he doesn't cry over the dirt. He celebrates the nugget. He cleans it and values it. Your life is full of hidden gold nuggets. A call from a child. A green light when you were in a hurry, an unexpected discount, a moment without pain. Those are the nuggets. Most people ignore them. They step on them. They are too busy looking at the mud. The blessing hunter collects them, and every time you find one, you say, "Captured." When you celebrate the small, the universe feels recognized and sends you bigger things. It is like a child making a drawing. If you celebrate it and stick it on the fridge, the child will want to make more. If you ignore it, the child will stop drawing. The universe is that generous child. Celebrate the found penny so the million arrives. For the information diet, cleaning the lens. For the lighthouse to illuminate well, the lens must be clean. If the glass is full of mud, the light doesn't get out. Modern mud is toxic information. At your age, it is very common to watch news all day. One must stay informed, people say. But does knowing about a crime in a distant country help you live better? No today. Does knowing the economy might collapse help you pay your bills? No. That information dirties your lens. It fills your doorman with danger alerts. It puts you in survival mode, and in survival mode, miracles cannot be seen. Only threats are visible. I suggest a low-information diet. Stop watching sensationalist news today. Stop reading newspapers that sell fear. If something truly important happens, you will find out. Protect your eyes and ears. They are the windows to your soul. If you let trash in, your house will smell. Replace news with inspiring books and music. Clean the lens of the lighthouse so your light shines strong and clear now. Through synchronicity, God's winks. When you align your attention with your intention, a magical phenomenon starts to happen. Synchronicity. These are the impossible coincidences. You think of a book and find it on a bench. You need a plumber, and your neighbor recommends one. These are not accidents. It is the invisible web of reality responding to you today. It is the universe conspiring in your favor. When this starts to happen, do not dismiss it as luck. Stop, smile, look at the sky and say, "Understood. Thanks for the wink." Recognizing synchronicity creates more synchronicity. It is God's way of telling you, "You're doing well, you are on the right frequency, keep walking now." Fade to the art of holy indifference. Learning to focus is vital, but learning to ignore is mastery. There are things that do not deserve your attention. There are battles not worth fighting. At 60 or 80, you no longer have to prove anything to anyone. If someone insults you in traffic, ignore them. Do not give them your focus. Do not gift your power away today. If a politician says something stupid, ignore them. If a joint hurts a bit, observe it, but do not give it the main microphone of your mind. Do not let pain narrate your day. Mystics call this holy indifference. It is attention economics. It is knowing your attention is the most expensive currency, and you don't give it to anyone. Awaken exercise, the evidence journal. To close this chapter, I want to give you a physical tool. Buy a small notebook. This will be your evidence journal. Your mind, by default, has a poor memory for the good and an excellent one for the bad. We are going to reverse that. Every night, write down 3 good things you saw that day. 3 red cars, 3 gold nuggets. The coffee was delicious today. My daughter sent a sweet message. I walked 10 minutes without getting tired. By writing it, you are solidifying the positive memory. You are giving the doorman the physical evidence that your life is good. And he will look for more proof tomorrow. You will realize you were never abandoned. You will realize that grace was always raining down on you. You just had the umbrella of complaint open. Close the umbrella. Let the blessing soak you. Now you have control of your focus. You know how to look at the good so it grows. But there is one final obstacle, one very intimate one, your identity. It is time to change now. You can want to be rich and healthy, but if in your core you still see yourself as the sickly old man, your identity will sabotage your efforts. You cannot put new wine into old wineskins. To have a new life, we need a new character. Chapter 8. The New Suit. Reinventing the Identity. Imagine that you have worn the same grey, heavy and tattered coat for 40 years. It is a coat that is too small for your shoulders, tight in your chest, and has holes in the pockets. It smells of mothballs, old memories, and dust. You have become so accustomed to it that you believe the coat is your skin. You believe you are the coat today. When people ask who you are, you point to the worn fabric and say, "I am this old coat. I am this tired person, with pains and a small pension." But today, the physics of the miracle brings you liberating news. Your personality is not your skin. It is only a suit, and suits can be changed. You are not your problems or your medical diagnosis. You are the divine consciousness that temporarily inhabits that personality, and you have the divine right at any moment to go to the cosmic tailor, take off the old rags of the victim, and put on the royal mantle of the victor. Often, the greatest obstacle to receiving a miracle is not that God doesn't want to give it to you today. It is that you have nowhere to store it. Your current identity is too small to contain the blessing. You ask for wealth, but you continue thinking and acting like the honest poor. Wealth does not fit in that suit. You ask for health, but your identity is that of a chronic patient. Health bounces off that label in your life now. To have a new life, you must first be a new person. You cannot put new wine into old wineskins, because the skins break and the wine is lost. Welcome to Chapter 8. Today we are going shopping. We are going to design your new avatar. We are going to learn that it is never too late to be who you might have been in this world today. The Wax Museum labels of the past. Look at your current life. How do you define yourself? After a certain age, society fills us with labels, and we docilely accept them. I am retired. Subconscious translation, I am no longer useful. I am a widow. Translation, my love life is over. I am clumsy with technology. Translation, the modern world has left me behind. These phrases are not innocent descriptions. They are prison bars. When you say I am, you are invoking a universal law. You are merging with that condition. The first step to changing your suit is recognizing that the old suit no longer serves you. It served to help you survive until here. It protected you from the cold today. Honor your past, but do not stay to live in it. A museum is a nice place to visit, but a terrible place to live. Everything is still. Everything is dead. You are alive. Your heart beats. Your cells renew. Your story is not your destiny. What happened 20 years ago has no right to dictate what happens tomorrow unless you invite it. Let go of the labels. You are not a retiree. You are a free spirit with time to create. You are not an ill person. You are a body in the process of healing. Peel the labels off the coat. By detaching yourself from these definitions, you create the necessary space for a new, vibrant identity to take root in your consciousness. Actor's principle, acting as if. Konstantin Stanislavski, the father of modern theatre, taught his actors that to play a believable character, it was not enough to recite the lines. They had to become the character. They had to walk like him, think like him, feel like him. If an actor had to play a king, he had to assume the internal majesty of the king today. Life is the greatest theatre there is, and you are the leading actor of your play. If you want to change the script, your destiny, you have to change the character. Most people wait to have things before changing. When I am cured, I will be happy. It is the trap of eternal waiting. The cosmic tailor says, put on the suit first. You have to start acting as if. Act as if you were already healthy. Act as if you were already prosperous. This is not lying to yourself. It is tuning into a quantum possibility. In the infinite field of possibilities, there already exists a version of you that is healthy and rich. When you act as if, you are connecting now. You are downloading its software. How does that version of you walk, with the head down or the chin up? How do they speak? Do they complain or give thanks? How do they treat others? With envy or generosity? Start imitating your ideal self. At first it will feel strange, like new shoes, but with practice the leather adapts today. 3. The physiology of dignity. As we age, we tend to shrink. Gravity pulls us down. Problems curve our backs. We look at the ground so we don't trip. This physical posture sends a devastating signal to your subconscious. I am defeated. I am in retreat. I am fading. And the universe responds to that signal by turning off your light in the world now. To change the suit, start with your posture. It is the fastest way to change your identity. Straighten up. Right now, as you listen, pull your shoulders back, open your chest, the center of your magnetic radiation, lift your chin, look at the horizon, not at your feet. Breathe, taking up space. This is the posture of dignity. When you adopt this posture, your brain begins to secrete testosterone and serotonin, the hormones of power and well-being. Cortisol drops. You cannot feel like a victim if you are standing like a victorious general. It is physiologically impossible. When you go out, walk as if you owned the sidewalk with a serene majesty. Walk as if you had $1 million in your pocket, even if you have 10 pesos. Walk as if you had iron health, even if your knee hurts. That dignity is magnetic. People will make way for you. They will treat you with more respect. And most importantly, you will respect yourself. Dignity is the perfume of the soul. Use it now. First, the imposter syndrome, the test of faith. I know what your logical mind is thinking right now. This is ridiculous. If I act rich while being poor, I am a fraud. That voice is the guardian of the old suit. The ego hates change. The ego prefers to be an authentic poor person than a rich person in practice. It will call you a hypocrite. It will call you delusional. Listen to me well. You are not faking, you are rehearsing. Every master was once an apprentice who pretended to know what they were doing until they learned. When a child plays at being a firefighter, they are not lying. They are practicing for the future. You are playing at being your divine self. Do not let the strangeness stop you. Reality is plastic. It molds itself to the mold you present to it. If you present the mold of poor, reality hardens in the form of poverty. If you present the mold of prosperous, the mold might be empty at first, yes. But nature abhors a vacuum. The universe will hurry to fill that mold with real substance in your life today. Maintain the character. Do not step out of the role when the bills arrive. Look at the bill and say, from your prosperous character, "This is temporary. My provision is infinite. This will be paid." Maintain the pose until the pose becomes your nature. By holding the frequency of your new self, you force the outer world to align now. The name change internal dialogue. In the Bible, when God called someone for a great mission, he often changed their name. Abram became Abraham. Saul became Paul. The name change symbolized a change of destiny. You do not need to go to the civil registry, but you need to change what you call yourself in the privacy of your own mind and your own thoughts today. What do you call yourself when you drop your keys? What a silly old person I am. How useless. Those are your old names, slave names. Cancel that. Give yourself a new name, a secret title. It can be the Wise One, the Reborn, the Quiet Strength. When you make a mistake, speak to your new identity with absolute kindness. Calm down, Reborn. It was just a slip. You are in control. Treat yourself with the courtesy you would show a foreign ambassador. You are the ambassador of God on earth. Behave as such. Leave the cruel self-criticism behind. It serves no purpose, and it wrinkles the soul. Your inner voice should be your most loyal ally today. Elegance as a spiritual tool. I want to touch on a practical point often forgotten in spirituality, your external appearance. I am not talking about fashion or expensive brands. I am talking about care and neatness. When one feels depressed or old, they tend to abandon themselves. They stay in pajamas all day. This is a deadly message for the subconscious. It says, I am not worth it. I expect no visitors. The party is over. Change the suit, literally. Even if you aren't leaving the house, shower, shave, put on perfume, and wear clean clothes. Dress for the most important guest of all, yourself. Dress for the universe. When you fix yourself up, your vibration rises automatically. You feel more capable, more awake. If you want to attract abundance, do not wear rags. If you want to attract health, do not look like a neglected sick person. Elegance is discipline. It is celebrating that you are alive. Use the good dishes. Put on that shirt you kept for a special occasion. The special occasion is today. Certes, the environment of the new self. Your new character needs a matching stage. Look at your house. Does it reflect your past or your future? Is it full of objects that bring sad memories, broken furniture? Your house is an extension of your body. If your house is stagnant, your life is stagnant. Make room for your new suit. Throw out the old and the useless. Give away what you don't use. Do not keep things just in case the bad times return. That is decreeing that they will return. Create a vacuum. Clean the windows so the light enters. Create an environment that tells your mind, a prosperous, orderly, and peaceful person lives here. It is hard to feel depressed in an orderly home. Help your new self by giving it a dignified home. By aligning your physical surroundings with your internal shift, you provide a constant visual confirmation of your new identity. A clean and bright space acts as a sanctuary for your rising vibration, making it easier to maintain the state of the miracle throughout your day now. The eagle's gaze, perspective. At your age, you have a tool the young do not, perspective. The young look at problems with a microscope. Everything seems giant. You can look at them with an eagle's eye. You have already survived heartbreak, crises, and losses, and you are still here. You are a survivor. You are strong. Incorporate that into your identity. When a problem arrives, do not react like a scared chick. React like the eagle. Look at the problem from above. This too shall pass. I have overcome worse. I have the tools. That calm, that lack of hysterical reactivity, is the true mark of spiritual royalty. The king does not scream, the king does not run, the king resolves. Just exercise, the threshold ritual. To finish this chapter, We will perform a ritual to mark the change of skin. Tonight or tomorrow morning when you shower, do it with intention. Imagine the water not only cleans your sweat, but cleans your old personality. Imagine the water carries away the label of old or ill. See that grey water go down the drain. It is gone forever. When you turn off the tap, you are clean, new. As you dry off and dress, do it with the awareness that you are putting on the new suit. Choose your clothes with love. Look in the mirror and do not seek wrinkles. Seek the sparkle in your eyes. Smile at your reflection. Introduce yourself to your new life today. Hello, I am your name. I am prosperous, I am healthy, I am loved. Nice to meet you. Walk out of the bathroom like someone stepping onto a stage to receive an ovation. Now you are a new person. You have a high vibration. You have dignity. You have faith. But there is an element in your life that may be a challenge now. Others. Your family, your partner, your old friends. They know the old you. They have an old script for you and expect you to follow it. When you change, they will be confused. How do we keep our new suit clean when others try to stain it with old stories? Chapter 9. The Universal Echo Relationships. We have reached sacred and delicate ground. It is easy to be spiritual on a mountaintop alone, meditating with eyes closed. It is easy to feel full of peace and love when no one interrupts you, when no one contradicts you, and when no one demands anything from you. But you do not live on a mountain, you live with people today. You live with a partner who perhaps snores or complains. You live worried about adult children who make mistakes. You live with the memory of parents who perhaps were not perfect. You live with noisy neighbors and demanding bosses. And here is where the physics of the miracle faces its trial by fire. You must be steady in your light. You can be vibrating high, visualizing your wealth. But then that person arrives, you know who, and with a single sarcastic phrase, they bring you down to earth. They make you lose your patience. They make you feel small or guilty. And you think, if it weren't for them, I would be happy. Today I bring you a hard truth for your soul. They do not exist, not as you believe. The people in your life are not independent actors who have decided to make your life impossible or happy by whim. They are echoes. They are mirrors. They are secondary characters in the play that your own mind is projecting. To change what you hear, you must change what you shout into the world. Welcome to Chapter 9. Today we are going to learn to change the scripts of our relationships. We are going to stop trying to change people by force, something impossible and exhausting, and we are going to learn to transform them by transforming ourselves. By shifting your internal resonance, you shift the behavior of everyone around you. I, the law of the projector. Everyone is you. Imagine you are in a cinema. On the screen, an unpleasant character appears, a villain who treats the protagonist poorly. You run toward the screen and start screaming at the villain. You try to reason with him. It is useless. It is light and shadow. The origin of that villain is in the film reel in the projection booth today. In your life, you are the projectionist. The people surrounding you, your spouse, your children, your colleagues, are playing the roles that you, consciously or unconsciously, have assigned to them. There is a deep mystical principle that says, the world is yourself pushed out. It is a reflection of your own inner state and self-worth. It means people treat you exactly the way you expect to be treated, and the way you treat yourself in the depths of your subconscious. If you feel undervalued, you will inevitably attract people who ignore you or lack respect for you. They are loyal messengers, bringing you your own letter. Do not kill the messenger, rewrite the letter. Tear the telepathy of expectation. Let's talk about long relationships, those marriages of 30, 40, or 50 years. Over time, we tend to put our partner in a mental box. You know how they are. He is always messy. She always complains. You have written that script and repeat it every day. When they walk through the door, you are already tuning into the defect today. You have prepared your reaction before they even open their mouth. By holding that rigid expectation, you forbid them from changing. You are telepathically forcing them to remain the person who bothers you. You have them trapped in a quantum cage. Even if they wanted to change, your expectation is so heavy that it drags them back. Do you want a miracle? Break the script. Start seeing that person as they could be. Look for the good, even if buried under years of routine. Change your internal dialogue about them. If you treat them as the best version of themselves, they will have no choice but to change to match your new frequency, or they will simply drift away. Third, adult children, cutting the cord of worry. For many of you, the greatest source of anguish is your children. You see them struggle or suffer for money or love, and your heart breaks. You want to save them. You want to give advice they didn't ask for. And when you cannot help, you worry. You spend nights imagining the worst. Listen well, your worry does not help them today. To worry is to pray for what you do not want. When you worry about your child, you send a mental projection that says, I believe you are weak. I believe you will fail. You are taking away their power. The best inheritance you can give them is your trust. It is seeing them as capable. It is seeing them as strong in their own journey. You must cut the emotional umbilical cord. They have their own trip, their own lessons, and their own God. Their mistakes are necessary for their growth, just as yours were for you. If you avoid every fall for them, you prevent them from developing muscles to stand up. Release control. Occupy yourself with your own garden today. V, the vampire and the saint. Difficult relationships. What about truly difficult people? The toxic, the aggressive, the envious. Are they also a reflection of me? Yes and no. Sometimes they reflect a shadow of yours, something you don't accept in yourself. But sometimes they are simply masters of contrast. They are there so you can define who you are and who you do not want to be. They are there to test your stability. If someone insults you and you take offense, you have lowered yourself to their level. You have accepted the poisoned gift. If you remain in your peace, looking at them with compassion, as one looks at a child having a tantrum, you have passed the test. Do not endure abuse, but do not hate. Hate is a bond that ties you to them. If you hate someone, you take them to bed and to dinner in your mind. That person lives for free in your head. To be free, you must let them go. Forgive because you deserve peace. See them as actors who played the villain to teach you how to be strong or set boundaries. Fire them from your movie. V, the mental letter technique. Sometimes we want to heal a relationship, but the other person does not want to talk or has already passed away. Grief and unspoken words are heavy burdens in old age. I want to teach you a quantum technique to resolve conflicts without the other person being physically present. In the world of energy, there is no distance today. Sit and close your eyes. Visualize the person with whom you have the conflict sitting in front of you. See them receptive, surrounded by a soft light. Speak to them, not to their defensive ego, but to their soul. Tell them everything you never said. Take out the pain and the rage, and then tell them what you would have liked to hear. Imagine they apologize or say, I love you. End the conversation with an embrace of light and say, we are at peace. You are free. I am free. You are altering the karmic contract. Many report that after this exercise, they receive a call from that person, or the pain simply vanishes. Do it with deceased parents too, they will hear. The loneliness versus solitude, the sanctuary. At a certain age, the ghost of loneliness hovers near. Children leave, friends part, and a partner may be missing. The silence of the house can feel crushing. But in the physics of the miracle, loneliness is not a void. It is a space full of presence. There is a difference between loneliness and solitude, enjoying your own company. When you get along poorly with yourself, being alone is unbearable. You need noise and TV to not hear yourself. But now that you are cleaning your garden and treating yourself with kindness, you are excellent company. Convert your loneliness into your sanctuary. It is the moment where you finally have total freedom now. It is the time to discover who you are beyond your roles. You are an eternal consciousness, having a human experience. Fill your space with music, books, and God. Speak with the universe out loud while you cook. When you enjoy your own company, you become magnetic. Complete people attract. Companions will appear to share fullness. Sevatum, the silent praise. I want to give you a tool to instantly improve any tense relationship. I call it the silent praise. Next time you are with that difficult person, do the following. While they speak, look at them and mentally seek something good in them. It can be something physical. They have clear eyes. Or deeper, they also want to be happy. Start sending them silent blessings. I bless you, I wish you peace. They will not hear your words, but their soul will feel the vibration. The guard dog of their ego will lower its guard because it will not feel an attack from you. You will see how their voice softens. You are changing the chemical atmosphere today. Fate Tai, the lie of sacrifice. We were taught, especially the women of your generation, that to love is to sacrifice, that being a good mother meant suffering and putting yourself last. That is a dangerous lie. Constant sacrifice creates resentment, and resentment poisons love. If you empty yourself for others, you will end up giving bitterness today. To love others well, you must be full. You must be the priority in your own life. It is not selfishness, it is sustainability. Care for your health and your rest. When you are happy and energized, your presence is a gift to your family. A happy parent is worth more than 100 embittered ones. Teach them to love through your abundance. Rekindling the flame for long-term couples. If you are blessed to have a partner of many years, but feel the flame has gone out, apply the law of novelty. The brain stops seeing what is always there. You stop seeing your spouse because you think you have seen it all, but that person has changed. They have aged and grown. Look again at them today with fresh eyes. Look at them today as if they were an interesting stranger. Ask questions you have never asked. What did you dream of as a child? What is your favorite memory of us? Break the routine, go somewhere new, take them out of the grandparent role and put them back in the man and woman role. What you water grows now. Conclusion of Chapter 9. Relationships are the school of the soul. No one arrives in our lives by accident. All are teachers. Those who love us teach us tenderness. Those who hurt us teach us strength and forgiveness. Those who ignore us teach us to value ourselves. At the end of the day, all are echoes, all are you. Treat others as you want to be treated. Treat them well, not because of a moral rule, but because they are literally part of your own consciousness. When you heal a relationship, you heal yourself. When you release someone, you release yourself. We have covered your mind, word, time, heart, and energy. You have all the tools. Now only the final step remains today, the step the master takes when all the work is done. The step that seems easiest but is hardest for the ego, which always wants to control. It is called surrender. It is called flow. It is called letting go. In the last chapter, we will learn to stop rowing so God's current can take us home. We will enter the state of grace. Chapter 10. The state of grace, letting go and flowing. Visualize two swimmers in a powerful river. The first swims against the current. He is strong, disciplined, and has perfect technique. He moves his arms with fury and kicks with vigor. His muscles are tense, his breathing is heavy, and his face shows the suffering of the effort. He fights inch by inch, but the cost is enormous today. He represents the way we were taught to live. Life is a struggle. No pain, no gain. The second swimmer is in the same river, but he does something different. He lies on his back, relaxes his muscles, and looks at the sky. He simply floats. He lets the current take him. He uses his arms only occasionally to correct his course today. The force that moves him is not his own. It is the force of the river. He travels miles without getting tired. He arrives at the ocean fresh and rested, with a smile on his lips. This swimmer has discovered the secret of the mystics. He has discovered Wu Wei, effortless action. He has entered the state of grace. You are him now. Welcome to Chapter 10. I know you are tired. I know you have spent decades being the first swimmer, rowing against the economy, family problems, and your own health. Your ego has told you that if you stop rowing, you will drown. But today I tell you that the river is not your enemy. The river is God's grace. Lift your oars and trust now. The paradox of control. The greatest obstacle to living in the state of grace is our addiction to control. We mistakenly believe that we make things happen. We believe our heart beats because we watch over it, that the sun rises because we set the alarm, that money arrives because we worry. But analyze your life honestly. Most functions happen without you today. You do not control your digestion. You do not control the division of your cells or the rotation of the earth. An infinite intelligence does all that for you with amazing mathematical precision while you sleep. If that intelligence can keep the galaxies in order, don't you think it can also manage your career and your finances today? Stress is simply the arrogance of believing you have to do everything alone. It is the ego saying, God, step aside, you don't know, I'm driving. And when the ego drives, it always crashes because it has a limited view. It only sees the problem in front of the bumper. Divine intelligence has the satellite view. It sees the whole map now. Entering the state of grace means resigning from the position of general manager of the universe and accepting the position of receiver. It means saying, "Thy will be done," not with sad resignation, but with joyful relief. What a relief! I don't have to know how to solve this. The boss is in charge. You are finally free today. Tote, need is a repellent. Here we come to the great paradox of manifestation. The law says, to receive something, you must stop needing it desperately. Need vibrates at the frequency of lack. If you say, "I urgently need money, I'm desperate," your dominant vibration is, "I do not have." And the universal mirror reflects more "I do not have" back to you today. It is like trying to catch a butterfly. If you run after it with a net, sweating and shouting, the butterfly will flee. It senses your anxiety as a threat. But if you sit quietly in the garden and forget the butterfly, it is very likely it will come and land on your shoulder. The state of grace is that sitting quietly in faith now. It is serene certainty. It is knowing that what you asked for is already yours, so you don't have to run after it. Do you run after the mailman to see if he's bringing your letter? No. You know the mail comes at 10. You wait calmly. When you release the grip of desperation, the energy flows. In total surrender, the healing can enter today. While you tense your muscles waiting for the blow or fighting for the prize, you block the flow. Relax. What is meant for you has your name written on it. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be lost. It will arrive. By yielding to the divine current, you align yourself with the natural abundance of life that is always seeking to reach you. Thrix, the cosmic waiter. I like to use the metaphor of a luxury restaurant. You enter the great restaurant of the universe. You sit at the table. The waiter, the law, comes. You look at the menu and place your order. "I want the perfect health dish and a side of prosperity, please." The waiter smiles and says, "Excellent choice, I'll bring it right out now." The waiter goes to the kitchen. What do you do then? Do you get up, run to the kitchen, push the chef and start cooking yourself? Do you sit at the table, biting your nails, asking every 30 seconds, "Is it coming yet?" Or do you relax, take a sip of wine and enjoy the atmosphere, knowing with total security that the food will come today? The state of grace is staying at the table enjoying the wine. You already asked. You already felt. Now let the chef cook. Stay out of the kitchen. The kitchen is the realm of the how. Humans always obsess over the how. But the how is divine territory. Your business is the what and the WHO. Let the chef handle the process now. When you try to control the how, you spoil the dish. Trust the kitchen's timing. The chef knows how long the soufflé takes so it doesn't fall. By resting in this trust, you demonstrate the highest form of faith, allowing the universe to surprise you with a result far more perfect than anything your limited mind could have planned today. Thai signs that you are in grace. How do you know if you have managed to let go and are flowing? There are unmistakable symptoms. Absence of friction. Things stop being difficult. Doors open on their own. Life feels lubricated. Synchronicities, coincidences multiply. Peace of mind. This is the most important. Your worried mental conversation stops today. There is silence inside. Joy without reason. You wake up happy without anything special having happened. It is the joy of being connected to the source. When you live like this, people will ask, "Why are you so calm with all the problems out there?" And you will smile and say, "Because I know I am sustained." It is deep peace. It is the peace of a child sleeping in the back seat of the car while his father drives. He doesn't know the route or have gas money, but he sleeps peacefully because he trusts the driver. Become that child again. By relinquishing the burden of the journey, you allow the divine driver to take you to destinations beyond your dreams. The God box technique. Sometimes the rational mind is very stubborn. We want to let go of the problem, but it returns like a sticky boomerang. For these cases, we need a physical ritual. I propose creating a God box. Find a beautiful box. Write on the lid, General Manager's Affairs, or God's Inbox. Use it for your heavy burdens today. When you have a worry you cannot solve, a debt, an illness, a family conflict, write it on a piece of paper. Be detailed. God, I hand over this mortgage problem. I have done all I could. Now it's your turn. I declare myself incompetent to solve this and pass the command to you. Fold the paper and put it in the box now. The moment the paper touches the bottom, the problem is no longer yours. You have delegated the management. If your mind tries to worry again, stop it and say, "No, wait, that is no longer on my desk. It's in the box. It's being processed." It is an immense psychological relief. You will see that most problems solve themselves today. First, thy will be done, the safety net. Many people are afraid to surrender because they believe God's will might be something bad or painful. They have an image of a severe God. Erase that image. God is pure love. God's will for you is always greater and better than what you can imagine for yourself. We dream small, God dreams big. You ask for a hut, he wants a palace. When we say, "Thy will be done," we are really saying, "Lord, this is what I want. But if you have something better for me, I am willing to let go of my small plan to accept your big plan." That is intelligence. It is recognizing our limited vision. Sometimes not getting what we wanted is the greatest blessing for our lives today. The state of grace is trusting that whatever happens, it is for my highest good. Even apparent losses are necessary prunings for greater growth. By anchoring yourself in this truth, you remove the sting from every challenge and the fear from every change, knowing that the architect of the universe only builds toward perfection now. Seventh, inspired action versus forced action. Being in grace does not mean sitting on the sofa waiting for bags of money to fall from the ceiling. Remember, Wu Wei, effortless action. You are going to act, yes, but the source of action changes. Forced action, born of fear. I have to do this or I'll starve. It is heavy, tiring, and usually goes wrong today. Inspired action, born of enthusiasm. Suddenly you have an idea. You feel an impulse to call someone. It feels light. Time flies while you do it. It is like playing. When you are in grace, you follow the impulses of intuition. They are whispers. Go down this street. Buy this book. Obey those whispers. They are GPS orders now. Sometimes they seem illogical. The GPS says turn right and you think, but the bank is left. Turn right. Maybe there was a traffic jam on the left, or maybe on the right you will meet the person with the solution. Logic is linear. Intuition is quantum. Dare to follow your hunches. Your gut is almost never wrong today. Fate, the bird on the branch. There is a beautiful image that describes trust. A bird perched on a branch is not afraid of the branch breaking, not because it trusts the branch, but because it trusts its own wings. You have spent your life trusting branches, jobs, partners, the economy, and branches sometimes break, and you fall and suffer in your life today. The state of grace is remembering that you have wings. You have the connection with the divine. You have the power to create. If the branch breaks, fly. Nothing happens. You will find another branch. Security is not outside. It is in your inner nature. When you know who you are, you lose the fear of losing things now. You know that you are the source of your own reality, so you can recreate it as many times as necessary. By shifting your reliance from the external world to your internal power, you become unshakable. No matter what happens in the physical realm, your ability to soar remains intact, and your supply remains infinite today. It's like walking on water, maintaining frequency in the storm. It is easy to be in grace when everything is going well. Mastery is demonstrated when the storm arrives. Peter walked on water as long as he kept his eyes on faith. The moment he looked at the waves, 3D reality, he was afraid and sank. When bad news or a diagnosis arrives, that is the moment of truth for you now. You will feel the impulse to sink into fear. Stop, breathe, turn the radio dial and say, I deny the power of this appearance over me. This looks bad, but I know God is in control. I stay in my center. I choose peace. It is an act of spiritual rebellion. It is refusing to be dragged down by the illusion of the senses today. I promise that if you manage to stay in your peace in the middle of the hurricane will dissolve. The storm feeds on your fear. If you are not afraid, the storm runs out of energy and disappears. You will become the eye of the storm. Everything spins around, but in your center, there is absolute calm now. The final secret, gratitude in advance. We already spoke of gratitude, but in the state of grace, gratitude becomes your natural state. You don't thank for specific things. You live in a state of thank you. You thank the air, the water, the chair. You thank even the problems, because you know they bring a hidden blessing to your journey and your soul today. Father, I thank you that you have heard me. That is the master key, to thank before seeing, to live as if heaven were already on earth. When you do that, the border between heaven and earth is erased, and your life becomes the paradise it was always meant to be. We have reached the end of the learning path now. We have dismantled reality piece by piece. We have cleaned the ground. We have planted and watered. We have learned to wait and to let go. You are no longer the same person who started listening. Something has changed in your cells. Something has lit up in your heart. You are a conscious co-creator today. Conclusion: the great architect. Night has fallen upon our journey. We have walked together through 10 chapters, 10 doors, 10 steps of a staircase that has led you from the basement of resignation to the terrace of possibility. Now we are at the top. Look down. See that old version of yourself that started listening to this audiobook a few days ago. Look at it today. See it with compassion. It was afraid, it was confused. It believed life was a series of cruel accidents. It believed your age was a sentence, and that your best days were behind you, dissolved in the fog of the past. That person no longer exists. You have transmuted them. Through knowledge, you have turned the lead of your ignorance into gold. Now you know. You know reality is a mirror. You know you have a fertile garden in your mind. You know your tongue is a magic wand. You know how to wait with the certainty of the farmer. You know how to feel before you have. You know how to care for your vital battery. You know how to focus your lighthouse. You are the architect now. You know how to dress with royal dignity. You know others are echoes of your own voice, and you know how to let go of the oars so God can carry you. You are no longer an apprentice. You are no longer a victim. The moment has come to assume your true title. You are the great architect of your own universe. You design and build now. High's the construction of the cathedral. At 20, one builds fast. One wants a cabin for the night. One wants quick success and immediate results. At your age, you are no longer interested in building straw huts that the wolf blows down. You are here to build a cathedral. A cathedral is not built in a day, but it is built to last for centuries. Your life is that great work now. From today on, your life is that magnum opus. We are no longer seeking to fix small problems. We are not here just to pay a debt or heal a knee pain. Those are minor details. We are here to build a consciousness of greatness. We are here so that when you walk down the street, people feel that something important is passing by today. Let them feel a vibration of peace and authority that they cannot explain but they respect. You have the plans. God has given you the materials, thought, emotion, and word. The land is your current life, just as it is now. It doesn't matter if the land has debris, it is cleared. It doesn't matter if it is uneven, it is leveled now. Do not wait for better conditions. The architect works with what is there and transforms it into what it must be. By taking command of your current reality, you initiate the sacred labor of elevating your existence. Every brick you lay with intention strengthens the foundation of the glorious structure you are destined to inhabit. Token, the lie of time, the eternal now. I know there is a shadow that sometimes darkens your heart. It is the shadow of the clock. Perhaps a cynical voice has whispered, "This is all very nice, but you are late." You are already 60, 70, or 80 years old. Most of your sand has fallen. Why start now? I want us to look that lie in the eyes and destroy it forever in your mind. Linear time, counted in birthdays, is a human convention. For the spirit, for energy, for quantum physics, time does not exist. Only the eternal now exists. Everything you have lived is happening in a way now in your memory. Everything you will live is happening now in your potential. You are not old. You are ancient in this world. Your spirit has no age. Has your capacity to love aged? Has your ability to be moved by a sunset grown wrinkles? Does your desire for peace have arthritis? No. Those parts of you are eternal. They are young and old at once. Moses started his mission at 80. Colonel Sanders founded his empire at 65. You are in your harvest today. Great trees give their best shade when they are 100 years old. You are not at the end, you are at the harvest. Youth was the sowing, full of errors and learning. Maturity is the moment to gather the golden fruit of wisdom. It is never too late to manifest a miracle, because a miracle by definition collapses time itself. A miracle can do in one day what human effort would take 10 years to achieve. So do not look at the calendar, look at your intention. As long as there is breath in your lungs, there is work to be done. As long as you remain in the work, the architect does not retire. Your best designs are waiting to be manifested in this very moment. Third, the invisible legacy, spiritual epigenetics. You are not doing this only for yourself. I know that at your age, selfishness decreases and concern for those who follow increases. You think of your children and grandchildren. The physics of the miracle teaches us something breathtaking about legacy. Biology speaks of genetics, passing on eye color and the shape of the nose today. But quantum physics speaks of spiritual epigenetics. You pass on your beliefs and your vibrations. If you die as a resentful, fearful victim, you pass that music to your children. They will inherit your fear without knowing why. But if you decide here and now to break the chain, you heal the entire lineage in this life. If you decide to heal your mind and live in abundance and faith, you are cleaning the spiritual DNA of your lineage. You are healing forward to your grandchildren and backward, honoring your parents. When one member of the family awakens, the entire family tree shakes and lights up. You are the chosen one of your clan today. You are the one to turn on the light. That is your true legacy. Not the money in the bank, but the living demonstration that one can live without fear. Let your grandchildren say, "My grandparent was magical. They had a strength that was not normal. I want to be like them." You are the beacon that will guide them through the darkness. Fight the fear of transition. Death is a move. I have to touch upon the taboo topic, the elephant in the room, death. After 50, death stops being a rumor and becomes a neighbor we see passing by from time to time. The fear of death is the root of all anxieties. It is what makes us cling and fear. But from the perspective of the miracle, death does not exist for you. The first law of thermodynamics says, energy is not created or destroyed, only transformed. You are energy, pure electrical consciousness. You do not have a soul. You are a soul that has a body. The body is the car. The soul is the driver. When the car rusts and no longer runs, the driver gets out. He just steps out now. Does the driver die? No, he simply leaves the vehicle. Understanding this is the final key to freedom. If you know you are eternal, a spark of the great divine fire, then what are you afraid of? Poverty? It is a temporary state. Illness? It is a signal from the car. Others' opinions? They are ghosts. You are safe today. When you lose the fear of dying, you start truly living. You start taking risks. You start loving without measure. You live with the divine unconcern of one who knows the game is rigged in their favor, because in the end, they always return home. Live these years as a progressive count toward your graduation from Earth School. The Architect's Code, your daily practice. So that you do not forget all you have learned, I want to give you the Architect's Code. It is a practical summary, a daily liturgy to keep your cathedral standing. You do not need hours of meditation. You only need to live with intention. At waking, tuning. Before stepping on the floor, turn the dial and give thanks today. Thank you for this day. Today I choose miracles. I choose peace. Do not touch the phone or the news until your heart is armored with gratitude. In front of the mirror, identity. Look yourself in the eyes. See beyond the wrinkles. Greet the architect. I am health, I am abundance, I am God in action. Dress with dignity now. During the day, vigilance. Be the doorman of your mind. If a complaint arrives, change it for a blessing. If a pain arrives, do not claim it as mine. Look for the red cars, the blessings. In relationships, the mirror. Treat everyone as divine messengers. If someone bothers you, bless them in silence and move on today. At sleep, sewing. Go to bed clean, release the problems into the God box. Relive the best moment of the day. Fall asleep with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Thank you, Father. It is done. If you do this day after day, your life will become a work of art. You will always know the way back home within your soul now. 5. The delivery of the keys. We have finished. The audiobook reaches its end. But the true book, the book of your life, is starting a new blank chapter right now. The pen is in your hand. The ink is your intention. Do not write the same as yesterday. Do not write sad dramas. Write an adventure. Write a romance with life. Write an epic of overcoming today. Surprise the angels. Surprise your family. Surprise yourself. Remember, you are not alone. You never have been. The original great architect, that loving intelligence that some call God, others universe and others source, is within you. It breathes in your breath. It beats in your heart. You are the instrument of the divine now. You are the instrument God uses to experience himself in this world. Make God enjoy the experience of being you. Make your life so full and vibrant that when you reach the other side, God says, "Bravo, what a journey, how well you did, how much fun you had." Stand up from where you are sitting, stretch, breathe deeply now. Feel the life running through your veins. Open the door, the world is waiting for you, and the world responds to the one who knows who they are. Go, build, love, and always remember, the miracle is you. You are the resonance of all that is good, and your masterpiece is just beginning to unfold in the light of this new day.